it seems like a lot of parents and grandparents are hesitant to talk about it because they feel like they don't know. Money and commerce has changed to be much more digital and invisible. As a grandparent, you might have thought, oh, well, I had money in my pocket or I didn't, but things look different now for kids.
Welcome to Retirement Revealed. I'm your host, Jeremy Keil, and we're here to turn your retirement savings into retirement income. Today, we're talking with Jamie Bosse about how to teach your grandkids about money. Jamie, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We were just talking here about how we've been financial advisors for a similar amount of time frame, hitting the 20-year mark. And people often assume that I was a financial planning major in college. Like, oh, you must have, majored in that. I did not, but you did, from what I hear. What caused you to pursue financial planning just right away in college?
That's right. I did major in financial planning and I kind of fell into it by accident. So I went to college thinking I would be an elementary ed teacher and started down that path. And when I was a sophomore in college, my parents filed for bankruptcy. And so that, raised a lot of questions for me about, okay, what does this mean? How did this happen? How do I avoid a similar fate? And so I ended up taking personal finance classes just for my own benefit because I knew that I didn't have a good education on that front and needed to learn more. So I took one class and then I took another and was really fascinated by the topics and thought that it could be a wonderful career path to help people, navigate this complicated world of money and avoid some of those, things that plagued my parents.
Yeah, you took your kind of your parents' experience and you turned it into kind of bettering your own. And I'm just going to assume, 20 years in, I've mentioned in person, I think you're doing well financially. That's going to be I'm going to socially just assume that. But you've got this good career as a financial advisor. What prompted you to then start writing books, not for kind of your clients, but your kids' client or the kids of your clients? You've got these children's books about money. How did that come about?
Yes, so I have four children, currently ages 11 and under. And when I was shopping with some of them, I noticed like, oh no, they don't know anything about money, right? Like I was shopping with my then 5-year-old oldest son, and he wanted to buy this giant toy, and he's like, I need this, remote control, grave digger, whatever, monster truck thing. And I told him it was not in our spending plan that day. And then he said, "We'll just buy it on Amazon then." And then and I kind of realized like, "Oh no, I haven't done a good job of talking to my kids about money because he doesn't know that Amazon is a financial transaction. It's not just some magical service that delivers, toys to your doorstep." So I was trying to think of different ways to communicate with my kids about money, and we've always been good readers. Read before bed at night, and so I looked for different kids' books about money, and I didn't find very many. So there are some great ones out there, um, but I was like, well, okay, maybe I can write something. So I didn't intend to write a book at first. I was going to write like a rap or a poem or something like catchy where they could remember some basic concepts. But it ended up kind of like shaping into a story, and then I had some different storylines that I wanted to pursue. So now I have four kids' books about money currently.
It's awesome. Four kids books about money, and your rap album to come out later on, I assume.
Yes, still working on that one.
Yeah. Well, Jay Bosse is a great rap name, so I think that would work out for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you've written four books. Tell me a little bit about each of them and kind of what you're trying to get across in those books.
Yeah, so with the books, I kind of based my storylines on just concepts that little kids can understand, right? So kind of kindergarten to second grade concepts. And the first one is called Milton the Money Savvy Pup Brings Home the Bacon. And in that story, the basic concepts are learning that money is earned by working and you need money to buy things, and that sometimes you have to wait and save to get what you want. You can't just have everything right up front. So that was the original. The second one, Milton learns the concept of not just spending money every time you get it, but kind of the give, save, spend concept of every time you get paid, some of that should go to giving if that's important to you. Some of that should be saved for the future or a rainy day. And then you can spend the rest if you want to on things that you value. So, and there's some other characters weaved into that one. And then I have a good night story of Goodnight Milton that isn't really financially based, but kind of reflects on his day, which includes money and money concepts. And then the newest one is Milton Counts His Blessings, which is a gratitude focused book. And people have said to me, well, like, why would you write about gratitude in a kids book series about money? And the studies have shown that people who are grateful and content with their lives tend to be more mindful with their money, and not get trapped in kind of overspending cycles and credit card debt and things like that. So I thought it would be a great concept to share with kids to remind them, you don't always need to buy new things to be happy.
Yeah, that's I love the kind of the order you've taken these in of like you got to go out and earn your money and here's what you do with your money. And of course, if you've gone out and earned some money, you've had a day. And hopefully at the end of the day, you're grateful about it. Somehow just bring up the gratitude and the word content. I think you said the word content there. It just reminds me there's some stories from the Bible. I believe as Paul wrote in the Bible about being content at all times. And that's tough to do. And so here you're trying to help younger kids do that. I think us older kids gotta learn
We
that
need it
as
too.
well too. Yeah. What have you
Yeah.
learned from kind of what when you wrote these books? What did you learn or maybe do different for your own finances?
Yeah, so I think just with the books, it was more like learning along the way with my kids on how to talk to kids about money. And so some of that was trial and error, figuring out, okay, like, does the give, save, spend jar system work with my kids? Like, what do I learn from this process? And, some of the things with that were, you know, if I forgot payday, like, that's a big deal, right? So I need to have a system in place to make sure I paid on the right day. And for the younger kids, they responded better if you paid right away. Pay, like, if you pay for chores and you pay them right away instead of like a payday on Friday. And now with my older kids, we're kind of working on um, you know, using a bank account and keeping it there instead of keeping it in your, jars and piggy banks. Um, and then I'm trying to figure out how to more incorporate more investment concepts of, like, okay, if you leave that money alone, I'll double it on your birthday or Christmas, or, so just trying to figure out different ways to teach other money concepts as they get older.
Yeah, I imagine there's people reaching out to you trying to learn about teaching their kids and grandkids about money. What type of questions are people asking you? What are they most concerned about?
Mhm. Well, I think a lot of people feel that they're not confident talking about money with kids because they feel that they haven't done a great job over their
Hmm.
lifetime, right? They've made a lot of mistakes. They started saving too late, these sort of things. And so it seems like a lot of parents and grandparents are hesitant to talk about it because they feel like they don't know. And then I think now with the way money and commerce has changed to be much more digital and invisible, as a grandparent, you might have thought, oh, well, I had money in my pocket or I didn't, and that's how I bought things or saved things or whatever. But things look different now for kids, right? They might have a Venmo account, or they might never see cash, right? They might do it all digitally. So just trying to kind of bridge the gap through generations.
Yeah, I haven't heard that term. I've heard digital money, but invisible money. I think that's a better descriptor. Like that's really what it is. I've been having trouble trying to figure that out for my own kids. Like I thought, okay, we'll do the give, save, spend. We'll do an allowance. They didn't want an allowance. They're like, don't waste your money. I'm like, no, this is like what kid was it? They're not taking my money. I'm trying to do the allowance. I try to like pay for chores and they're like, well, I don't want the money. Like son of a gun, I wanted to. So now you better do your chores, right? So far, the best thing that's helped for me is my daughter went to eighth grade, and I told her, okay, I got a checking account with an ATM card, debit card when I went to eighth grade. So this is just what you do in eighth grade. And she's like, okay. And so what we did is we gave her $400 into that account and said, we are not spending a thing on your school supplies, like your clothing, everything. Like this card is now what you had to spend on there. And now she's very much paying attention to what goes on the card and trying to add her own money onto the card.
Yes.
So that was helpful. Like this, it's weird. It's like the visible money I failed at, but somehow I came upon I don't know a system to teach the invisible money part of it. Thankfully,
I love it. Yeah, and it's so true. You want the kids to kind of have that decision-making power, right? Because you want them to feel the trade-off of, okay, this is how much money I have. I want to buy this, that, and that. So how do I fit that into the amount that I have? Um, and I think that is one of the key concepts to to learn young and like make mistakes on when you're young. That way you don't, have those same mistakes when the cost is a lot higher.
Yeah, for sure. Now, what are your thoughts? We're talking a bit as parents, but you talk to all kinds of folks, and how would a grandparent maybe help with teaching their grandkids about money? Because it's a different dynamic, but like, what things could they model or show or talk about?
Great question. Yeah. So I think kids are always listening and watching, right? So even if you're not talking about money, but if you're interacting with money in some way, they are watching you or listening to you. So I think using positive language about money is helpful because if you're always saying, oh, there's never enough, or that's too expensive, or we can't afford this, um, that sends the message like, oh, money is stressful, money is bad, it's something I can't control, right? Like it's never going to be a good thing. So if as a grandparent, if you're talking about, if you are with them when you're buying something, you know, um, talking about why you're making that purchase or how long you saved up for it if it was something big, or a vacation or something that you're saving up for in retirement or that you had saved up for and now you can do. But I think just being open about money conversations is really helpful and making it seem like it's not a taboo topic that you can't talk about.
Yeah, I think so. It's I like the original phrase you said to your son years back was, "This is not on our spending budget today." So instead of that's a positive thing. It's not oh, we can't afford this, we're broke, or maybe in the opposite, like, yeah, go buy anything and money's no object.
Hmm.
Like you could almost give extremes on there. Like that's a good in the middle of this is not in our budget today,
Yeah.
and either we'll have to keep saving for this, or like I said, if you're a grandparent, I see a lot of grandparents that are they're trying to spoil their grandkids,
Yes.
and maybe it's like grandpa and grandma are just the free Amazon, we'll just send you anything you want kind of thing. But yeah, when you're doing that, especially like vacation or something out of the ordinary, like, oh yeah, I saved up for this, I
Mhm.
worked hard, and this is what I want to do, what I want to do for you guys, is interesting too, because my dad was in town, so he's grandpa here, and he took us out to the baseball game. And typically when we go to the baseball game, like we'll tell the kids, you get one thing, like it's
Right.
it's it's a lot of money. You'll get one thing, so it's a nice little treat. And of course, he's grandpa, so he wants to like bring all five things. And so after one, he's asking them, "Hey, do you want another, hot dog, ice cream?" And they're like, "No, no, like, it's too much money." And so
Yeah.
he did the right thing. I think he's like, "I've saved up for this. This is special, and it was special to me. My grandpa took me, 60 years ago to the ball game, and I want to do the same thing with my grandkids." And so just the way he explained it well, of yeah, it is overpriced, but this is something that I've saved for and I can afford, and can do it. I think he did a good job on there.
Yeah. No, I love that. And just saying that this is what I'm choosing to do with my money, right? This is
Hmm.
important to me to make this a special event for us as a family. And so it's worth it to me. I love
Yep.
that.
Yeah, for sure. Good. Well, what other concepts or what else should I have asked you about related to the books, or maybe the ways you've seen that others have done well with explaining money to their kids and grandkids?
Mhm. Yeah, I think one thing I really like to do with my own kids is, letting them make some decisions on how to spend the money, right? So when they earn the money or they get it as gifts, we talk about the giving and how much to save and how much to spend. But when they are taking, their spend jar to the store or they want to buy some, whatever it is they want, I really try to let them make the decision themselves, even though it's stupid stuff that they want to buy most of the time. But my strategy is like, okay, we talk about what they're buying and why that day, like in the moment. And then a week later, I ask them, are you still enjoying that purchase? And then that is an interesting conversation because sometimes they have forgotten what it was that they purchased, or they have lost it, or it's broken, or it's boring now. So, when in that scenario, you can say, okay, well, next time you have some money to spend, maybe we would think about this a little bit more and not buy something along these same lines. And then on the flip side, if it's something that they're really enjoying and getting a lot of use out of, then we celebrate that. We say that was a really great purchase. I'm glad you did that. And so, just helping them kind of reflect on the decisions they make and know that that decision is powerful, right? Like you want to empower them to make the decision, but also have them reflect on if that was a good decision for them or not.
Yeah, I like that. I like that follow up a week later. That's
Hmm.
something I'm going to incorporate myself. But I'm thinking too of grandparents. It seems like now you don't know what to get your kids, your grandkids for Christmas, for birthdays. So you just give them a $20 bill or $100 bill or something like that. And then the hope too is, okay, well, let's go out shopping together. So it's a fun time kind of thing. But I think that's a great follow up question: is, hey, how did it work out? And are you happy you bought what you bought? Because that's a big just reflection moment, I think.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And then if it's something that's too expensive for them, like I try not to buy it for them, right? Like I don't want them
Mm-hmm.
to pay me back or any of that. I would say, okay, well, I'll take a picture of it with my phone. I'll take a picture of the price tag, and then we can talk about it, the next time you get paid. And, you know, you're short this much money. So,
Yeah.
like, just helping them kind of make a plan to purchase it instead of like, oh, I just need it now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, that's good advice. Now I'm curious, if it's your 5-year-old. I think you said your oldest is now 11, so this is 6 years now.
Mhm.
How's he doing? How would you grade perhaps his change along the way, or maybe your grade your own guiding him along the way?
Yeah, good question. So he is 11 now, almost 12, and he is my most thoughtful like
Okay.
money person so far. So if he is going to spend money, he'll really think about what it is that he wants. And he usually like he'll look at something and he's like, "Okay, maybe that." So I take a picture of it for him, and then he'll walk around and he'll look at something else, maybe that. And then a lot of times he doesn't buy anything that day, right? He'll kind of just think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he likes to spend a lot of money on books, which makes me happy.
Yes.
So I think that's a good investment. But he's the most thoughtful. His brother, who is 9, is the opposite, right? Like he'll just start piling stuff into the cart and then think about it later, like how much is this? Yeah. So we have to kind of remind him along the way, like, oh well, let's look at the price tag. Like how much money did you bring today? And but he's still a lot more, I don't know, frivolous.
Yeah.
But my younger kids, they are 6 and they're twins,
Okay.
and they both really are interested in money, but they really like to keep it, so they don't really
Mm-hmm.
want to spend it. So
Yep.
they're kind of hoarders right now.
Yeah. That's so
um,
interesting. How
mhm.
you've been guiding them all along the entire 6 year life for the twins there, and they're all different, right?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah.
awesome. Well, I've got
So
one more question for you, Jamie. Before that,
sure.
tell us, what's the best way to reach out to you?
Yeah, great question. So you can find me on LinkedIn. I am a financial planner at CGN Advisors. So you can reach out to me there. I typically work with a lot of families that are in their 30s and 40s that are trying to sort through kind of all these things with kids and saving for retirement and saving for college and balancing those competing priorities. And then you can also look at miltonthemoneysavvypup.com for more information about the books or to order them from that site.
Yeah, excellent. And we'll put links to that in the show notes. Although you said you enjoy when your kids buy books, I enjoy giving away books. And so the first 3 people that email us, podcast@keilfp.com, keilfp.com, let us know that you would like the Milton books. We'll send you all 4. We'll send you all 4 in the series for the first 3 people that email us, so you can share that with grandkids.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Well, I've got one final question for you, Jamie. It is, tell us something about yourself that few people know about. And remember, this podcast is rated clean.
Okay. Well, since I shared earlier that I was thinking about writing a rap song for the kids to remember money, I have won 2 rap contests in my life. So I do have some good rap skills, and not everybody can see that in me.
Yeah, I suppose because I think you live in the middle of Kansas. That's not Rap Central.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah,
And I kind of have a twangy voice, and so it's actually kind of fun to hear. So
that's right. Well, I think country rap is growing, so you might have started it.
yeah, yes, I'm definitely the original.
Yes. All right. That's awesome. Good. Well, thanks for coming on the show, Jamie, sharing us with your wisdom, not about how we deal with our own money, but how to help our kids and grandkids with money.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Yeah, you got it. And thank you for listening to the Retirement Revealed podcast. We believe if you know more about your money, you will feel better about your money and you will make better money decisions. Hi, I'm Jeremy Keil with the Keil Financial Partners. If you'd like to see how we help our clients get more income, pay less in taxes, and avoid big retirement mistakes, head on over to keilfp.com. That's KEILFP.com.